y'all, what's up? It's your girl UC Kayla. Guys, this is my review for season 4, episode 8, entitled The Sistas. And when I say I am so excited, this is the most excited I've been to do a review since the season started, y'all. When I said we finna get into it, honey, we finna get into it, okay? But first, if you have not, please remember to subscribe. Thank you so much for the people who have already subscribed. My subscribers are growing daily, and I really appreciate the love. I try to respond back to everybody and let you guys know, even if you have a different opinion, thank you for watching. And I really mean it. Remember to like, comment, and share if you like the content. All right, y'all. Let's go. All right. The Sisters. So I'm not going to redo the synopsis. I did that in my previous video and my predictions video. So let's just go. We start off in Andy's penthouse with the sisters. As we know, episode 7 left off with Karen saying that she was pregnant and the girls kind of being like, what? So we pick up there. Danny immediately starts going in. Let me tell you something. Danny was getting her life last night, and I'm here for it. She was hilarious last night. But she immediately starts like, oh Lord, let me just get into this wine before you go on. But what I will say is, Danny asked the questions that we wanted to know. So anyway, I'll just give a brief summary, then I'll give my opinion because I have a lot of opinion on this part. So Karen discusses the pregnancy and paternity briefly with the girls, and then Fatima enters. And if y'all see me looking over, don't act funny. You know I'm looking at my notes. Karen attempts to hurt Fatima with the pregnancy news, and it falls flat. And I do mean flat. Then she resorts to lying. Fatima disproves all the lies so bad to where she has to tell the truth. Karen issues Fatima a shaky apology for trying to intentionally hurt her. Fatima says she understands, but she does end their interaction by saying that if the baby is Zach's, they will be requesting a paternity test. Karen acknowledges, and the girls invite Fatima to stay for a while after she and Karen come to an understanding. And then they briefly chat about Calvin, Logan, and Gary. That's the first scene. So let's get into my opinion. That's what you guys came here for, right? So shout out to Danny, honey, for keeping it so real. Again, she asked some questions that we wanted to know. Danny even co-signed Fatima when Fatima was trying to play down, you know, how strong Fatima is. And I was like, okay, Danny, I love Danny anyway. But her and Preston been going through some things that's been having me like, Danny, come on, sis. But she got her life last night, and I was so there for Danny. As far as the scene between Karen and Fatima, I knew they weren't going to get into no physical altercation, especially with Fatima having the knowledge that Karen is pregnant. You know, and Zach believes it's his baby right now, so Fatima wouldn't do that because then that would cause issues between, you know, her and Zach. If she's carrying his baby, she can't go and beat the girl up. Even though he made a joke about it, I don't think it would have really went over that well. I applaud Fatima for not going upside Karen's head, especially when she was trying to get under her skin, talking about, do you know how much he calls me every day? So, girl, just straight up lying. I said, oh my gosh, Karen went out so sad last night. Honey, I know they was in the penthouse, but by the time Fatima got done picking through every one of them lies, Karen's face was down in the lobby, okay? They was up in the penthouse, but that mouth and her face had cracked. Them pieces was down in the lobby, okay? So, yeah, that was just a hot mess. Then Karen, you know, she got busted. I mean, Fatima had something for all that. Like, I have his password. I have the second phone password. He told me as soon as you I mean, she was just coming back to where Karen just had to tell the truth. Like, okay, I was trying to hurt you. Like, oh my gosh. Girl, I had secondhand embarrassment for her. Like, sis, if you gonna come for somebody, you got to come. You got to go for the jugular. You got to be ruthless, and you got to stand on how you feel. Girl, that's the best you could do. Karen tried it. I'm sorry. I was laughing like I was watching Martin or something. Like I was watching a comedy. Because, girl, Anyway, but again, I wasn't surprised that Karen lied because Karen has lied many times on the show. Even though I'm not a fan, I like to present facts. You know, I'm not a fan of Karen, but I don't, well, right now, it's a little shaky. But in the past, I wasn't even the biggest Karen fan anyway, but I respected her character. Now I don't even respect her character. But what I will say factually, Karen have lied several times. She lied to Aaron after her and Zach had their conversation at Danny's and said, oh, he wouldn't say it was over. He wouldn't say that he didn't love me and stuff. And then they have to keep questioning Karen to pull the truth out of her. And then she had to come back and say, well, he did say it. Okay. She lied to the girls at the club and said he didn't say it. And Danny was there, luckily, to bust that bubble. It's just like Karen will flat out lie. And then you have to back her into a corner for her to tell the truth. And I don't respect that. I don't care who you a fan of. I don't respect that. Have your faves, I understand, but I don't respect a liar. I agree with Fatima that just because Fatima's being cool and being an adult about the situation, I do agree with her that, hey, we still gonna need that paternity test because you like to lie. She didn't say that, but she probably was thinking that. You like to lie. It's supposed to be gospel because Karen said it. Fatima, okay, Zach can go for it, but I done seen this girl lie. She straight up lied to her face that night, so I know Fatima not gonna let that go about getting a paternity test. However, I will just insert this little blurb. I don't think this pregnancy is going to make it. This is not going to be an issue. I think Tyler Perry is going to dead the issue. Oh, wait, that might have been a bad choice of words. I think Tyler Perry is we're going to lose this part of the storyline. Like, she's not going to end up being pregnant or something bad's going to happen to the pregnancy, unfortunately, or whatever like that. And then we'll move on. But we'll see. That's just my opinion. That's not a fact. So good for Fatima for being grown. Good for Karen for at least coming clean after she couldn't lie no more, I guess. And good for them both being able to occupy the same space. That takes a lot of maturity. However, I will say this. I am not here for Tyler Perry trying to make us believe that they're going to be besties or they're going to be friends or Fatima's going to roll with that circle with Karen. It's not realistic. Even if we come to an understanding, that's not realistic. And especially as long as Karen is not fully over Zach, which everybody knows she's not. Yes, Fatima is mature, but Tyler Perry ain't nobody that mature. Don't try to make us believe that Fatima gonna be in a relationship with Zach, hanging out with Zach ex, who still wants him, who she can't fully trust. And she proved that last night. So anyway, we'll see. But Tyler Perry, don't play with me. All right, scene number 2. Zach and Jake are on the phone. Then Jake is in his office. Zach's at his house. Actually, he's at Fatima's house in her bathroom. So Jake gives Zach some advice about the stocks. He does advise him to go ahead and diversify his portfolio, means to purchase other stocks, some that are doing well, some that are not doing well, to like try to divert the attention off of the Bellinese stock and get the heat off of him. After they wrap up their conversation, and Jake said he'll come back later, Fatima comes home. She briefly tells Zach about the interaction with the sisters meetup, basically just that she didn't hurt Karen, that Karen tried her and tried to blindside her. And then her and Zach shared they love victory about the fact that their communication has been doing so well, and she can't blindside her with anything. And Zach's like, see, that's why we got to communicate. And he's right about that. Zach tells Fatima what happened with Gary at the basketball court. How Gary wanted Zach to be his PIMP and get Andy back. And neither one of them are Gary fans, to say the least. Fatima also advises Zach not to really trust Jake because he works for Gary. My opinion on this is, Fatima, she's just such an adult. Not only did, she handle the meetup with class, she also spoke well of Karen after the fact. Like, she didn't go to Zach with a bunch of drama, like, I can't stand her, this, that, and the third. She was like, you know what? She tried me, but we cool. She can be sweet when she want to be. I was like, Fatima, I aspire to be an adult like you one day, okay? Because I'm not there. I think that as far as Jake and Zach, I think Jake is really trying to help Zach. Especially, so last time I said Rotten Tomatoes, if you go to IMDb, you can see the synopsis for each episode. If you don't like spoilers, don't do it. It's okay. I do. I have, because I love this show. I have to know what's going to happen next. But if you see the spoilers, the synopsis, it looks like Jake is really trying to help Zach. So that's the reason why I'm not distrusting him. If I didn't know what I know, then maybe I would be a little, leery of Jake. But I'm not. So let's see. And I'm keeping both of my eyes, honey. Both of my eyes are on Gary. I don't trust Gary as far as I could throw him. So we'll see. All right, scene number 3. Karen ends up back at the salon, which I mentioned this in my predictions video, but we never really got an answer. What was the point of her being back at the salon? I don't know. But she was talking on the phone to Andy, and then Aaron later calls her. As soon as she answers the phone, she was like, I knew you weren't coming to stay with me to Andy. Andy decided to stay at her penthouse, as she should. Sleep in heavenly peace in your penthouse, Andy. I'm not mad at you. Karen says she knew she wasn't coming, and then Aaron calls and interrupts the call. They really didn't talk about much. Karen tried to get into her business. Thankfully, Aaron called. Thankfully, her business called while she was trying to get into Andy's business, so she could realize, oh, I have my own business I need to take care of. So Aaron tells Karen how he played basketball with Zach that night, and he was like, I see why you still not with Zach, and you could hear a pin drop. She wasn't ready to talk about it again. And then Aaron changes the subject to the baby, and he's just like, Karen, I put a timeline together, it really could be mine. I would be so happy if it's mine, as he said this before, and I would be there for you. But even if it's not mine, I'll still be there for you. And Karen doesn't want to hear it, even though he's offering her support. So my opinion, I really wish Karen would stop treating Aaron so poorly. Like, girl, this man is trying to support you. However, let me say this in defense of Miss Karen, kind of, because she said she needed some space, but she wanted him to be there, but she wanted to be single. But let's see how it goes. So anyway, I feel like Aaron is kind of putting himself out there. I said this before, to be mistreated at this point. I think he needs to give her some time to make a clear decision. And some time is not later on that day, Aaron. It's a couple days. It's a couple weeks if she needs it. Stop putting yourself, in the line of fire for her to bite your head off when you're just trying to do right by her. But he loves Karen. And I do believe that Aaron loves Karen. And because there is this, factor that it could possibly be his child, he's really excited. He wants it to be his child. The kids he had from his former marriage were not his biological kids. So he's probably excited to be a first-time dad. He loves Karen. This would be perfect for him. Maybe not so much for Karen, but it would be the perfect scenario for him. And I would really like Tyler Perry, if she does play this pregnancy all the way through, I would like him to go ahead and make it Aaron's baby. Not just because I'm a Fatima fan, but because Aaron deserves the happiness and Karen deserves the happiness. I feel like if she found out it was Aaron's baby, she could fully release that. She has no other ties to Zach. She don't want no smoke with Fatima. And she would have to force herself to move on. And she might really find happiness, and love and stability with Aaron, because she said she loves him. I don't know if Karen loves him for real. I think she's really fond of him. I think she cares about him. I think she has enough sense to know he's everything she needs. But unfortunately, wants and needs are different, so we'll see what happens with that. It's just a hot mess. I really wish she would stop treating him like that. All right, scene number 4, Andy in her penthouse, and Gary's on the iPad. I knew this was going to be, I thought it was just going to be a video of Gary begging for Andy to let him, back into her life. I didn't realize we was finna go on another tour of the penthouse. Like, I tweeted last night, and it's getting a lot of traction. I was like, is this Sistas on BET or MTV Cribs? Like, how many times are we going to tour the penthouse? We've seen it. Okay, we've seen it. Can we not tour the penthouse anymore? If Tyler Perry see this, we got it. Okay. My opinion of it, I was just like, okay, I don't trust Gary as far as I can throw him. But this is Andy's situation, and Gary ain't been able to keep Andy away from him in 4 seasons. So probably nothing's going to change. I mean, she done got beat up, life threatened, He done been in jail, lost a job, and they still rocking. So whatever. I'm not really that invested in Andy and Gary. It's like, obviously this is a bad thing to do, Andy, but she's going to do it. So we'll see what happens. I do think Robin is still going to be in the picture, and we'll see what happens with that. All right, scene 5, where Zach is at his house. He pulled up in his car. He's heading in the house, and then Gary calls him on the phone. Later in this scene, Hayden is going to enter Gary's office after him and Zach get off the phone. And then lastly, Jake is going to come into Gary's office. All right, so Gary calls Zach to apologize, and he says he'll send Jake over to go over some things with Zach and advise them on his portfolio. He also tells Zach to pull out some cash because cash is king just in case anything goes down. Hayden comes in questioning Gary because Zach keeps it really short. So, like, that was a short conversation because he doesn't trust Gary. And he barely, received the apology. Then Hayden comes in questioning Gary, like, what did he say? What did he say? And Gary's like, basically nothing. And why are you so interested, And Hayden's like, well, I just don't like people breaking the law. Anyway, Gary's like, except for you. Then he's just like, Gary's like, well, just keep an eye on Andy for me. And Hayden's like, well, just keep fire on this situation for me. So we'll see what happened. Because then when Jake comes in and he's like, yo, I don't trust Hayden. Oh, let me go back. I did miss the part where Gary's like, what happened to you, man? Because, he's always still bruised up and on the crutches and stuff. And, and Hayden's like, oh, I fell off my electric bike. And then, Gary he couldn't have known about Fatima or whatever, anything like that. So this makes it clear that Hayden has not disclosed to anybody what really happened to him. And he's trying to make Zach look like the villain, but he's not disclosing why he got beat up or why Fatima will want revenge on him. So this typical Hayden throwing a rock and hiding his hand. And then Gary's like, oh, yeah, let me know when Robin is back. He didn't call him Robin, but that's who he was referring to. So that's why I said I think we're going to see Robin more in this season, and he and Andy are not over. So anyway, now Jake comes in when Hayden's going out. He's like, yeah, like he don't trust Hayden. And it seems like he's starting to get skeptical of Gary also. We'll see how the plot thickens. And Gary's like, man, I have so much dirt on that guy. I'm not worried about him. So 2 dirty people got dirt on each other. We'll see what happens. In my opinion, I don't trust Gary or Hayden. That's not going to change anytime soon, I don't think. I can't exactly put my finger on Gary because y'all know Gary's temperament. Whichever way the wind blows or however him and Andy are doing will determine if he's going to flip on her or switch on her or whatever. And betray her, Fatima, or Zach, or all of them. And then he'll try to buy his way out of it and issue a lame apology. So I don't trust Gary. Hayden is at least consistent with being a villain. Like, you can't trust Hayden. With Gary, there have been so many plot twists with his character that Tyler Perry has twisted and turned him this way, where it's like, I hate Gary. Then it's like, well, maybe he's trying to redeem himself. Then it's like, nope, there goes typical Gary. And then it's a twist that's like, oh, no, he didn't actually do that. But can I really trust him? So Tyler Perry got us all over the place with Gary, to be honest. I don't have a clear verdict on Gary other than I just don't trust him because it'd be too much going on with his character. And that's not just with Andy. That's with everything. So yeah, we'll see how the plot thickens with that. I do think it's smart on Tyler Perry's part because I was about to be like, what are we still doing with Gary? Like where I am with Calvin. So maybe more will come with Calvin later this season where his character develops and twists and turns in other ways that are relevant to the show. Because if it's just going to be him and Sabrina breaking up the makeup, yeah, I've already said my opinion about that. All right, next thing is scene 6, Maurice and Q are at the bank. Maurice pulls up in his car and Q come hopping out the bushes begging Maurice for him to stay at his house, even though he told him no a bunch of times on the phone. Maurice is refusing and like, you need to get out of here. You're at the scene of the crime. By that time, Sabrina has pulled up and she rushes into the bank with Maurice. It's like, I'm going to call the police on you. And Maurice is like, she's not joking. You need to get out of here. So my opinion, first of all, I don't care about the storyline because it's unrealistic. It's very far-fetched. The fact that Maurice was even taking his calls. And how can you call? I ain't never been in jail, but I know a lot of people that have. Can you just call somebody from the jail phone? I mean, like, he was calling Q. Hold on. Let me think about this. Because it was something about the call. Like, they was just calling each other direct, it seemed like. There was no message at the beginning. I know the person in jail can call you, and you can decide if you're going to accept it, and it will be, you know, collect. But I felt like it was a whole, at one point, did Maurice call him or something? Or, I don't know, we'll see. But it was something fishy about that threw me off with that too. Because it's just like, you can't just call somebody in jail on your cell phone. You have to. Anyway, I figured out if I can get my mind straight. Because, see, I don't care about the storyline. So I done took that way back in my mind. But there was a little hole in that when they was calling back and forth. And then it's also unrealistic that the man would come back to the bank. It's just like, why is he there? Why would you come back to the place where you got arrested? And then it was unrealistic if the person who robbed you returns to the bank. Why would Sabrina and Maurice unlock the doors and go in? Maurice didn't even turn around and lock the door behind him. Y'all trust this man? Because I would have ran back to my car, locked myself in my car, and called the police from my car. I'm like, what? How do this make sense? But anyway, I really don't care about this storyline. It's not significant, and it's not giving what I think Tyler Perry think it's giving. So anyway, I don't have much else to say about that. It just seems like it's a lot of weird things or holes or things that just don't sit right or seem realistic is what I'm trying to say. And then with Q and Maurice, it's just like, why Maurice got to have somebody who tried to rob him? Moving on. Scene number 7, Zach and Jake at Zach's house. This is the ending scene. Jake reveals what we saw on the preview trailer, like, hey, there's been an inquiry made, you know, to the Securities and Exchange Commission. He advises, I'm gonna keep calling him Jack. He advises Zach to tell him, you know, whatever he knows, and Zach is keeping it light because he doesn't really trust him. And then Jake is like, well, just tell them that you've been following the company and that's how you know. Then he asked him some further questions, like about margins and things that you would know if you were following the company. And obviously Zach couldn't answer. And he was like, man, we're going to have to sit down. You're going to have to spend some time with me. And I got to fill you in on this stuff, because if you can't answer, it's going to open an investigation. And Zach is like, why are you being so nice to me? And Jake is like, I just really want to help you. And he's like, all right, you better be who you say you are. By the time he can get that out his mouth, Jenna Mackey comes in, who says she was not the police. And obviously she's not, because she didn't personally arrest Zach. I think she's some sort of FBI agent or federal agent or something. She comes in with the police and they arrest Zach. My opinion, I don't distrust Jake yet. And I've said that earlier, and why. He seems like a good person. Zach's arrest is obviously over the insider trading stuff, and we'll see what happens with that. On the preview at the end of the episode, we saw that Jake is going to show up at the jail with the lawyer for Zach. So it seems like he's trying to help him. So let's get to that, the preview. I'm trying to wrap this video up because that's been a long time on the front end, but I had a lot. It's so much to unpack in this episode, and I may even do another video, but I don't want to hold you guys here for like a half an hour. All right. On the preview, Andy discloses to Fatima that she loves her penthouse. She was like, it was meant for me, and it's in my name. So it seems like sis Andy is going to keep her penthouse. Bayo comes to the bank, the African restaurant owner that got in a fight with Calvin at his own restaurant. He comes to the bank to ask Sabrina out. She'll probably accept. Well, she'll probably decline, and then her and Calvin will get into it and she'll accept. We'll see. You know how that goes. Aaron begs Karen to let him know about her doctor's appointment. Now, how she go? And see, this is another reason how Karen be lying. He asked her last night, when you go to the doctor, she said, when I make an appointment. Zach said she had an appointment in next week. Somebody lying. And I think it's Karen. Because then in a couple episodes, episode 13, she is going to go to the doctor. You can't just call the doctor and get it. Well, pre-COVID you could. Nowadays, they be booked up. So I think Karen did already have an appointment made that she told Zach about, that he told Fatima about, but she just didn't want to tell Aaron yet because he's so excited, and that's getting on her nerves because she don't want it to be his baby. Anyway, Sabrina warns Maurice about Q coming around. And she's like, you know, that corporate, which is the higher ups for the bank, believe that you were an accomplice to Q's robbery. I don't know why they put that in the trailer. Like, that was a shock. She told him that last season when it happened. Like, see, again, this storyline is not giving anything because we already knew they thought that. And then Jake arrives to the jail to help Zach with another lawyer. I won't give you the spoilers, but there is a leaked list, I guess, of guest stars that are going to be on the show. So I kind of see where this is going. Everybody don't want to know that far in advance though, so I'm going to save that nugget for myself. Now, there was like a 15-second additional trailer, but nothing really new happened. I think that Sabrina reveals that it was like $200,000 or something that Q was trying to get her, or she could have been talking about bio. So we'll see. The extra trailer wasn't that significant. That's why I didn't include it. But thank you guys. It's been 26 minutes. I'm so sorry. I had so much to say. Thank you guys for staying with me this long. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. I had people hit me on Twitter like, Kayla, when you put your video up? It means the world to me because I wasn't even going to do this because I'm like, nobody cares what I have to say. And you guys make me feel great every day. The comments, the feedback. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Please, if you have not subscribed, like, comment, share, let other people know, like, hey, there's this girl that reviews Sistas and, you know, you might like her or you might have a different opinion or whatever. All publicity is good publicity for me as I try to jump this channel off because I want to improve the channel. I want to upgrade things for you guys. My videos are going to continue to get nicer and nicer and nicer as we grow, and we're growing together. So thank you for being on the ground floor with me. I love you guys. Have a great week. Today is Thursday. I'm going to do another video probably tomorrow. If not, it'll be Monday, but I want to do another video about some of the stuff that I didn't have time to unpack on this. I'm not going to give it away, but please be on the lookout for that ding if you're subscribed to me. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful week, and thank you again. I really mean it. I can't say it enough. Bye-bye.